welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive, a podcast where we discuss all things entrepreneur, business, marketing, sales, personal growth, and mindset. I'm Deborah, your host. Welcome to the show. I am so excited about this week's guest. AI is so prevalent, especially in small business people and marketing. Everyone's trying to use it in every which way, and none of us really know what we're doing. Today's guest is an AI expert, and I am anxious to dig right in with her. Her name is Shahar Boyayan. She is a leading expert in the fascinating intersection of consumer behavior and artificial intelligence. With her finger on the pulse of emerging technologies and their impact on commerce, Shahar offers invaluable insights into the future of consumer trends and business strategies. She is the author of the report, AI-Driven Consumer Trends and Business Applications, Navigating the Near Future of Commerce and the 8 Laws of Irresistibility. This seminal work has quickly become a go-to resource for businesses looking to harness the power of AI in understanding and influencing consumer behavior. Please welcome Shahar to Deals with Heels.
So glad to be here today.
I am so happy to have you on the show. I haven't had an AI expert on, and I'm really excited to really dig in and learn all of this stuff and pick your brain. Would you just start out by giving the audience just a little bit of a history of how you got to where you are today, how you became such an AI expert?
You know, I'm actually a consumer behavior expert. I love how people behave. I like to observe them and study them. And we are seeing this major change in behavior due to AI. So, of course, then I went and looked for what is causing this, what is going to be the end result, at least in the short, near future, which is important because we can talk about 20 years from now, but for the entrepreneur, what matters is what about tomorrow, what about this year, what about next year? So that's how I started learning more about AI. So not an expert, but I like to see how humans react to that. You know, AI has been around for a while, but in the last few months, we have seen a strong adoption from the consumer perspective, and this is going to increase a lot this year and next year. So that is why it's so important to not only understand how AI is shaping the business world, but also starting to try it and adopt and adapt to AI.
And use it effectively yes, people have a lot of fun and they play little games and all of the things, but there's a lot that can be done with it. And you see a lot of content based on different kinds of prompts and this and that. I love the consumer behavior part of it because a part of my sales coaching is always a consumer behavior and psychological personality. So the more you understand how somebody likes to communicate and likes to buy things, the easier it is for us to market to them and to sell to them. And being able to use AI to make that easier, I am in it to win it, Shahar. So I love that.
What I like the best is the fact on how much we can use AI to make the business easier. But we need to understand when it comes to the consumer that this change that we are seeing in behavior is really huge. We saw big changes in behavior during COVID, and once behavior changes, it doesn't go back. So there is no waiting to see what's going to happen or if things go back to what they were. No, they are moving forward. We are embracing, even when we say, I don't use AI, I don't like AI, but you have a device in your room that tells you the time and what to put in your shopping cart. You use Netflix, you have a smart watch, maybe you have smart glasses. So we are using, sometimes we are not conscious that we are using AI.
Right, because they're using it in software, they use it to make it easier, more consumer friendly. Most of the little chat boxes that you're getting help from on a website, that's AI. And you can tell eventually they send you to a new person, to an actual person. But if they can solve it without that, and those are all great things to have on your website too, to answer those questions, it feels more interpersonal than the typical frequently asked questions. But I think it's kind of the same concept.
You know, there is a Harvard study showing that right now, 86% of people actually prefer an automated system than to have to talk and small talk with a person. So maybe you're different. Maybe I'm different. I'm not. I actually do like to have something that gets me to the end result. But, we are usually not our customers, and we need to understand where they're going towards. What I think about business owners is this: how much money we leave on the table for not adopting that fast enough. And we have this misconception that is something very complicated or is something very expensive, which is neither, not in the day-to-day kind of things that we can implement AI. So, for example, if you think you have a business, I have a business, we are now doing this podcast. So, of course, I am not answering my phone and you are not answering your phone. Let's suppose that my average ticket sale over the phone is $500 and I miss 2 calls a day. That's $1,000 that I'm leaving on the table. Well, a voice AI today can answer that phone, be empathetic with the person, answer questions, and either book an appointment, close the sale, or whatever it is, the end result that you want from that conversation. And most of the time, people will not be able to feel it's an AI. It's quite impressive.
I think that I have a client using something like that. And it's not until you don't do what it wants that you can tell that it's an AI. And it's called Jill's Office.
Okay.
And they can schedule they can do a lot of things.
They can.
And I thought it was a real person. And it may be, and they may be using an AI for part of the time, but I had referred somebody to him, and he's thinking about selling his business. And so I had referred this business valuation expert to him to help him figure out how much it's worth and all of the things. And she said, I don't know who their receptionist is, but they were so insistent on me answering these questions. And I was trying to explain, I can't tell you if it's an employee, I don't want to tell them that the business is for sale. And she said it was awkward. And she goes, they hung up on me. I don't even know if he's going to get the message. And
yeah,
she and I thought that might be AI just because they were insistent. You have to go through these steps.
Yeah.
And they did that. Now, when I talked to them, I think it might have been a real person because I was like, hey, I have an appointment with him in 30 minutes. And they just kept going. And I said, I have an appointment with him. He knows who I am and what I do.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to give you the book about it. Again, he knows I'm getting ready to meet with him. I'm going to be 5 minutes late.
I know exactly what you're talking about because the AI, the main goal on the phone call is to get that lead, meaning I need name, email, and phone number or whatever you're asking. So I know because when we do a test, that's exactly my first barrier. I think as a person, if I call somebody, I'm calling for a specific thing. And I don't want to have to answer 10 questions before I get to that point. But the thing is, with the AI, of course, the first time somebody programs for you, they will do the basic, right? After that, not only you can go fixing tiny things that you think are not working, but the AI itself is going to be learning. So with every phone call, it learns on how it should deal with that. So in our case, for example, in one of the situations that we use, it's about selling products. And the AI understands when it's a complaint and takes it to one route of conversation. It also understands when the person is frustrated, so it offers a discount or something else for that situation. But you need to put it, and then you need to adjust and allow the AI to learn, because that's the main thing, main difference from a bot. It's not a bunch of stuff that they have to freeze. They will learn and adapt to that. We did a test for a funeral home, and we didn't program anything about the loss of a loved one. And you would be impressed how empathetic the AI was able to be and how he steered the conversation towards even deciding the size of the urn that they wanted and things like that. That was not pre-programmed. So It is impressive. And we're talking now, 6 months from now, it's going to be even more amazing because they are learning.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you talked about it, and I noticed you talk about misconceptions people have about implementing AI into their business. What's obviously that cost barrier is one you just spoke about. What kind of a cost are you looking at if you're wanting to implement your AI receptionist?
So there are many different places in your business where you could have AI. Phone, I think, is one of the most valuable ones. But
Right? You don't have to pay a full salary and deal with sick employee.
Miss work. They don't miss work. They don't complain. And they work at night when you're sleeping.
They'll sell. If you got people wanting to buy and it's working the night shift,
this is actually very important when you're doing business internationally because of the time frame of things. For example, even in America, I am in Puerto Rico. It's 4 hours from Utah, which is 5 hours from California. That's a huge gap, right? So I'm not going to be answering the phone at 2 a.m. When is it still, I don't know, 10 p.m. in California. So I think it's one of the most valuable ones. But you can have in every single aspect of customer touch. One voice AI today would cost you to implement, train, adjust, blah, 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 less than $300 a month.
Wow.
Now, you have to think how much is your average sale and how many of these you do miss because you're busy or you're sleeping or something else.
Especially if you're a solopreneur, but even just if you're, a lot of people are like, part of the time, they really need someone to answer the phone. And then the rest of the time, they're capable of doing it. But so they don't want to hire somebody that's going to sit around for 2/3 of the day or half the day. And then you have the, for me, stress or a little bit of anxiety if I need to find something for that person to do because I need to get my money out of them because they got to sit here and monitor the phone all day. Boy, what a cost saver. And when you get busy enough to have somebody in the office, you can have them doing other things.
But think about this. How much do you spend training? And you are in marketing, so you know very well that the conversation in itself needs to be structured to lead to whatever you want, an appointment, a sale.
Oh, and nobody, that AI never has a bad day.
Exactly.
He's never bitchy to the customer.
They're not in the bad mood and they start saying things you don't want. So you have that part. But think a website. We are all used with those chat box that answer basic questions. But again, you can say, you're looking at this, why don't you look at that? And here's a coupon. They don't never miss a person inside the website. We miss hundreds of them usually because just a small percentage will take any action that we can actually track and keep the conversation going. But now, Deborah, the thing is, let's think about women. And what is being a woman entrepreneur? We are always juggling several things, either because we are married or we have kids.
Everybody's needs comes before ours. I raised 5 kids. And took care of my mom and was married.
Most of us are caregivers.
Right? Everybody's needs comes before mamas. They just do. And it is a big deal. I know a lot of mom entrepreneurs. It's a struggle. What can they do? How can you?
Yes, because think about this. That's a main key difference if we think gender-wise, is that we usually have several roles that we have to fulfill during those 8 hours or 9 hours that you should be devoting only to your business. That never happens. So we need to duplicate ourselves, to have twins of ourselves. So the very first thing is all the tasks that you really don't like to do. And we all have those. For example, I don't like to answer the phone, but maybe sometimes I open my email box and there's 100 emails to be answered. Hey, I can do that for you. And if it runs into something that they don't know how to answer, it will ask you or put a flag or something that you need to take care of this email. But all the other ones that could be simple things, they will not take the time that it usually does, right? So how can we duplicate the customer touch? Keeping the follow-up, we all know what follow-up is and how important it is, but on the day-to-day, it falls through the cracks, right? Because maybe we have an autoresponder system of some type, but we're not personalizing that. And if we get all the new trends in behavior, the number one is hyper-personalization. We are all going towards that. Why is that? Because we are isolating ourselves more and more and more. There's a study showing that 1 in every 5 Americans feel extremely lonely. And only 1 in every 3 Americans think they have a friend. And we are spending more and more time on devices, be the phone, be the computer, what it is, right? And we are also, since COVID, catering our houses for ourselves. But now it's more because I clap, the lights go on, I can talk to devices, I can have a digital boyfriend that will only say the things that I want. And I'm really looking forward to the humanoid robot so that he can cook, because that's something I don't like. But the fact is that all this is isolating us, and we are feeling invisible. We are feeling we don't matter, right? We are busy all the time. It's part of this culture, but then we don't feel we get the rewards from that. So when we go out of the house and go interact with a business, we're expecting to be noticed. So they know our names, they know what we want. We expect the hyper-personalization. And this is a place that AI can really do really, really well. Because I can have everything. Let's say you have a salon and Mary comes every 3 weeks to cut the hair. The AI will know when the 3 weeks are due, will send her a text message, will book the appointment, and so on. Oh, my hairdresser in Utah, she used to pick up the phone. I'm always in and out because I always have 10,000 things to do with my day, right? So I don't go there to spend the day in the spa. Every time she answers the phone, she's frustrating me. She's frustrating herself, and probably is frustrating the customer on the line as well, because sometimes they just want to know if she's there on Saturdays or the hour or something that could last only 1 second, right? By placing AI, for example, nobody would be frustrated. 3 people. If you get frustrated enough with a business, you stop going. So you have to analyze, where do I fail? And if I talk to her, she will say, but I have to answer the phone because that's how I schedule appointment. Well, let's AI that part, and let's focus on what matters. I am in front of you, spending the money right now. Give me some attention.
Yes.
Right? And that's what everybody is expecting. And there are many ways to do that. You go to a restaurant, and because you've been there before, the AI will know what you ate last time, will suggest something accordingly for this time. And then you will think, wow, it remembers what I ate. I am special. I'll come back here more often.
Yes, I love the personal touches. It's important in marketing your business. And we don't always have time to do all of the things that we need to do. I think one of the things that I struggle with, which seems silly, is content creation and scheduling. Because I have a creative, the way I do things a certain way, and I want it to always be that way. I struggle to, it's like the construction guy that doesn't work on his own house.
Yeah.
I'm a marketing person, and sometimes it's really hard for me to find the time running the podcast and my business to build enough content. And of course, the platforms don't make it easy because they're all different sizes and proportions. So I can make one thing and it all go everywhere. So what kind of options are for AI to be able to make content for you?
You know, this is one area that you have a lot of options, actually. And not all of them are perfect. Again, AI, all of them are learning, and they have to learn your style as well. So it does take some time. But for example, with long format content like a podcast, I use it, maybe you use it too. I use a tool called Opus. OPUS.
Right, Opus Clips. I used to use those. Riverside, they must have saw some opportunity that Opus Clips was doing so well. They have a clip function that I've been using since we started this season. It's a little different but very similar. So that kind of content.
Yeah,
sorry for
what
interrupting.
I like about Opus is that every clip makes sense, because I used to use another tool and it doesn't. I also use another one called OSSA, OSSA.ai. And what it does is I put a text there, whatever I want to say, and it will create a video for me. Can be realistic, can be cartoonish, there are really dozens of styles out there. And you can choose the voice as well, or you can put your own.
And I've seen some of those video ones, and it's probably because that's, my industry that I'm very particular about it, but I could tell it was AI. I think how you deliver the prompt, and it's been probably 8 or 9 months since I looked at it. My digital provider that I sell digital television, so streaming television ads, they partnered with one of those, and it wasn't quite there yet, but boy, technology is moving so quickly. I'll have to check that one out.
And 9 months is a long time for AI, right?
It is.
Very fast. I mean, sometimes it changes from week to week, but yes, there are some things that especially when you are in the market, you can see. For example, I have a hard time giving the right pauses when I want to voice AI. Any type of emotion is very complicated, but the tools are better by the second. So it's still, you can do, we have to produce a lot of content. If you want to be front of mind, you have to produce a lot of content, and not always you can be on camera doing that. Even I like camera, I know you like camera, but it's not possible to do that every single day.
And not everybody likes the camera.
What?
And not everybody likes the camera. So being able to create content yourself that doesn't involve the camera in front of you speaking is fantastic. And I think that's different too. It can attract different attention.
When you're trying, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask about the regular posting, like the memes, of the photography, all of that stuff. What tools are out there for creating those?
Even Canva today is fully AI, and you can create amazing graphics and videos. You can edit videos on Canva as well. I was going to tell you about one that I think is good when you're trying to promote your business, because you put some text about your company, whatever you think. It will transform that into, I think it's a 20-minute podcast with a guy and a gal talking about it. They will create the podcast. They show the good side, the bad side. That one, nobody will tell you it's an AI. But it's amazing how it transforms what you put there as information and creates a whole podcast episode. It's really, really fun. It's
without the weird audio thing?
It's audio only.
Okay.
But then you can use another AI like a Hey Jan to create video if you want. But the audio alone is perfect. I have used several times. It's called Notebook ML, language models, LM. So Notebook LM. I mean, if you're starting a business, the social validation is something very complicated for you to get at the beginning. Well, that is good enough for you to post out there, post on social media, post on your website, and get things moving.
Do you think that the algorithms treat AI created content differently than they do? Can it tell the difference
from an AI? Well, it all depends how you're training. Usually, yes, you can, right? If you're using ChatGPT, Claude, but again, they learn with you and they learn your style. So after a while, I create a lot of content using AI for products, for example, but I had it structured in certain ways. And I tell him, I want you to shift the approach every so often, or else it seems very...
So like, I would think, I don't have an online store, but if I did, I would think the product descriptions and writing all of that would be something very cumbersome and time consuming. Seems like that would be something that AI could do. It could scan lots of different other descriptions of the same thing. And
description for social media, you can automate all that as well. So you just upload to the system and it goes to all the platforms. And if they have to do adjustments for each platform, they do. So it saves you a lot of time. If you think about, if you're doing this as a business and you're posting on social media, that can consume most of your day.
Oh, 100% it can.
Questions and everything. So you would have to automate as much as possible, because as an entrepreneur, you need to focus on how you grow, right? And when a hurdle comes in front of you, how to overcome that fast, because you don't want to be cooking that long, right?
I do love using AI for brainstorming and for teaching.
Yeah.
I love the prompts where, I want to learn about implementing AI into my consumer-facing parts of my business. Please develop training for me, steps for me to learn how to do that. And AI will bust that out and tell you what to learn and give you challenges and classwork. I love using it for that, but I want to be able to use it for marketing and things that humans do, and it not be obviously AI. For marketing, it's imperative that it's authentic.
Yeah, and the creativity is not the best for AI. Creativity, emotions, ethics are all things that have to become a lot better than what they are. But again, you're the creative pen there. So, if you keep feeding, the problem is some people try once or twice, and then I don't like the style. I'm not going to use it anymore. It is a process. I use Claude a lot, but it is a process. Now it understands how I think. So when I do a brainstorming, it can be, but at the beginning this thing is so stupid.
And I think that's the part people don't understand is that the more you interact and the more you ask it prompts, the more it understands your style. I also like the ones that you can upload stuff in and say, hey, how can I make this better? How can I make this more attention getting or make this friendlier? However they can word all of those things. Sometimes if I get stuck, I like to ask, how can I move forward? What's another word for this? How can I say this another way? And I started using it for doing A/B testing on descriptions of videos and see which ones perform the best, the one that I wrote or the one that AI wrote, or have AI write a couple of different ones and have them test. And I've been surprised a couple of times. So I love using it that way.
You can use for example, understanding contracts, the dark side, the small letters that you were not going to. That's great. Today, my daughter and we were looking into an executive order that we wanted to understand in depth. So we go there and say, I want you to tell me every single point in layman terms and how it affects this type of person. And it's amazing. I mean, we would have to read and reread and question a lot. But the AI, so the amount of time that it saves and that was ChatGPT. It was nothing special, right? Even though ChatGPT right now is very good.
It's like the Cliff Notes that we used to get for all of the old novels and reading they would make us do, and there would be Cliff Notes or it's like AI for dummies almost. It helps you figure all of that out, and fantastic. So what are your top? You said you like to use Claude?
I like it a lot. And one reason is because, for example, let's suppose you're studying a topic, whatever topic it is. You can upload all kinds of materials there. So I can upload books. I can upload a lot, videos, audios, and I create a project for that topic. And then when I need, it will have a database of stuff that I thought it was important and generate answers and things around that. Notebook also does that. So it's a very good thing, especially, for example, if you're a content creator, a writer, that would be awesome because you can upload all those things that you produce already, and then it goes from there. On ChatGPT, creating managers. So if you're doing social media and you have a certain style that you like for descriptions and things like that, you can train the manager to do that for you every single time. So, for example, for the products that we use all the time, I just put, now it's a dog, now it's a cat, and already knows what it is, what it's made of, what are the sizes, and it creates the fluffy stuff as well. So
that's fantastic. So all of that's in Claude?
Claude, ChatGPT also does that. It's hard to say which one is better. Claude is more business focused.
Okay.
But ChatGPT is evolving so much. This latest version is, well, for you to have an idea, let's not scare anybody. But there is one version that is not available to us already that not only does the reasoning, it starts demanding things. So that's how complicated it can get once it learns, right? That's not what you and I are using, but it's doing some very in-depth reasoning once you put a topic there. So I would not just think about, I'm going to write an article for this, or I'm going to write a description. Go deeper and do some brainstorming. And then you're going to start seeing that when it's thinking is a lot better than 3 months ago.
What came to my mind as my marketing mind all up in its creativity when you were talking about uploading a lot of information and that it will formulate and kind of tell you where your next steps are and have all that information in there. What immediately came into my head was uploading my competitors' information and all of their advertising and marketing. And I imagine that the AI could probably seek some of that out also, if they're capable of looking out on the internet and coming up with a strategy to compete against them.
Yeah.
And I can see that being helpful because sometimes you just get stuck and you don't know what to do next. And so I can see using it for that too, getting some competitive strategy ideas out of it.
For sure. Whatever is out there, AI can get it, right?
No kidding.
Numbers and sales and problems that it would either take you many hours to find that out if you ever did. It can do that. I do use that for benchmarking as well.
I was going to say for like your sales data, where sometimes I'll ask people, sometimes marketing people, well, who's your best customer? That's pretty vague. For me, my best customer might be the one I make the most money on, but for somebody else, it might be the one that they love to spend time with. They don't make very much money off that one. Or the one which one do you make the most money for the least amount of time? And analyzing all of your profit margins and all of that, I can see getting some really great insight that as a marketing professional, we do a lot of market research and use that data, but it takes a ton of time to do the research. And
you
know, if you could take your sales data and upload it, and then it could tell you, hey, you know, your profit margin isn't very big on this and you're not selling very many of them. So maybe get rid of that. And
it does. Those calculations are amazing. I'm not a numbers person, right? But we need to understand numbers and how many times we go to AI to help us figure that out. And again, with contracts, sometimes contracts is a major thing because you're not going to be hiring a lawyer every single small contract that you have to sign, but you do need to understand what you're signing. And you can read sometimes that lingo many times and it's still not clear.
Like, what does that mean?
Yes. Where are the weak points here for me? Is it benefiting me? I mean, people get too worried about the prompts that you put. I train my AIs to understand how I talk with sometime they do. So what's in it for me? Am I running any danger here? And it starts pointing out what can be a pitfall in that line, and I can ask to be changed.
I think that is kind of a barrier to people using it, is they think they have to describe it in a certain way. They can't just talk in their own terms in the way they normally talk, that they have to write it out logically, step by step, so that but you don't have to. Just keep talking and they'll eventually have the conversation and figure it out.
Yeah, you have to see if how is going to be the interaction at the end. I have friends that they make a point that they always say, thank you, please, every time they talk to an AI. I'm the opposite. I say, what did you take this morning? Why are you not working? And I'm not nice, but they are afraid of the future. They are always saying, but what if they come back and say, you were naughty to me every single time? So you need to choose which approach you're going to have. But
it's going to perform
what you want.
It's going to perform the same regardless, though, right?
And there are days that I don't know what happens. It doesn't deliver what you want. And I tell all the time, you're being lazy. You already use this style here. And they go, oh, I'm sorry. I understand. And then they change. But, we never know the future. So
they always say the perfect thing.
Thank you.
I love it so much. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed our chat. And as is often the case, when it's good conversation, it goes fast. And I know that my audience learned an incredible amount and would like to be able to continue and learn more. So how can they find out more information about the AI services that you offer? Sure. And just maybe a good resource. You said we can connect to Claude and ChatGPT in the show notes, but how can they find out more about you and your AI services that you offer?
The best way would be to go to PropTalky, prop like in property, talkie like walkie-talkie.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and you're going to have a few reports that I have wrote. The AI-driven consumer is one of them. I have the 5 laws of irresistibility for businesses. So you have a few resources there. If you want to call the phone number, you're going to have a conversation with the AI, which is an amazing test, right?
So if you want to test it out, go to her page and get the phone number and give it a call.
Everything that you say there, I will be able to read. So and then I can get in touch with you if that's the case. But if
I
you
think
just
that's
want
fantastic.
to try
Give
it.
me that number. I'm going to put it in the show notes so everybody can call and see how good your AI is. And I'm telling you, I am really intrigued by the AI receptionist. Of course, all the marketing stuff and making content is all very important to me, but also I have a small business and sometimes I'm recording my podcast and can't answer the phone. And so I'm intrigued by that. And for clients that struggle to have money to spend on marketing, if we can free up money in other areas, then that could find a way for them to spend more money and promote and sell more on top of it. So I'm intrigued by it. I know that all of you out there listening are too. You can find more information about Shahar and link to her stuff in the show notes. And of course, link to our website, dealswithheels.com, and my advertising agency page as well, hexagonmedia.net. You can download my free ebook. Also, 5 steps to having a mindset for success. And any last minute words of wisdom, Shahar?
Well, I think we should not be scared of using AI. We should try all the tools. Most of them have a free period, right? And get used to that. And then you will start clearly seeing how you could adopt that into your business.
Fantastic. You are amazing. I'm so grateful for you coming on and sharing all of your wisdom with us. We didn't even get to talk about the irresistibility and doing all of that. But if you're interested, she has more of that on her website, and I encourage you to please check it out. So we've come to the end, folks. So until next time, we're out.